I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You guys, Metro DC DSA got a tremendous number of victories put up on the leaderboard a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to hear about how that happened, what you guys have been doing to gear up for it. It kind of came out of nowhere a little bit.
Yeah, well, I guess like it seems that way. So I am not in leadership anymore. I was on steering for Metro DC from 2022 to 2024. I just ran and won my local council seat, but it's been sort of a slow going buildup. In 2016, we got a ton of, like DSA in general, we got a ton of people post Bernie. In 2018, we ran a ton of races in Maryland, in Virginia. And then in 2020, we had our first DC win with Janie Lewis George elected to the Ward 4 council seat. And then in 2022, we passed an initiative to raise the tipped minimum wage in DC. We're like building out the chapter capacity. And I mean, this year was historic, but it has been kind of like, we've been building out our electoral strength and tenant organizing and labor organizing at the same time.
So what's going to happen? Is Trump going to actually take over DC now? Like, is there a real fear there?
I mean, I think there's definitely a fear, but I think like he's threatened to take over DC. He also has like sent ICE into our streets. He sent you've seen he sent the National Guard, not just downtown, but into our neighborhoods and everything. And I think like this election shows that we're not afraid of him and that we are going to continue to organize and we're going to continue to fight to protect immigrants, to fight for rent stabilization, for all these protections, and to eventually fight for DC statehood.
Wow. So that's like one of the goals of the chapter. Okay. Also, can you come a little bit closer? Yes. I'm sorry. This is a little bit busted because this is my remote setup. So
no, but this is great.
There's like issues with the focus, unfortunately. There's issues with the audio. Everyone is mad.
Oh no.
Please introduce yourself to our audience. I forgot to even do that.
You're good. Hi everyone, my name's Aparna Raj. I have been a Metro DC DSA member since 2018 or 2019. I have been a tenant organizer with the chapter, was the chair of the chapter, and I just won the Democratic Party for the Ward 1 DC council seat.
So what are some of the major issues? Because like I feel like DC is different than all these other all these other cities in general.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, like we still, like people in other cities, have to pay rent. We have to afford utilities. We have to pay for childcare. So the cost of living crisis still bears down on us a ton. And that was a huge part, I think, of like electing Janie, electing me, electing this whole wave of progressives. But we also are especially vulnerable because we don't have statehood. So, there's National Guard walking our streets. Last year, Republicans and Trump just decided to take $1 billion out of our budget that was going to go to schools, going to go to firefighters, like filling potholes, things like that, and they just never gave it back. So we had to.
What did you do with it?
So it's like they just banned us from being able to use it effectively. Like it's our money, like it was local money, not federal money, but in the budget, the federal budget last year, they just put in a rider that said like there's $1 billion that we can't spend effectively. And that's,
But what's the reason for that? That sounds insane.
It is. Their reasoning is DC can't manage a budget, DC can't do this stuff, but it's basically just their way to like try to flex their power over us. And I feel like DC has been the testing site for a lot of the Trump administration's attempts to take over blue cities. So, we were one of the first cities to have ICE on our streets. We had the National Guard on our streets.
Wait, someone said there's no stated reason.
Yeah, there's no stated reason. Yeah. It's basically just to punish DC and to like
that's the most insane thing. I mean, he does insane stuff all the time, but that seems like exceptionally cruel and stupid.
Oh yeah. And so like we were down on the Hill and also like we were in, Democratic senators' offices trying to lobby them, and so many of them did not care. Like, because for them it's like DC, like 2 years ago, not 2 years ago, in 2023, we passed criminal code revisions, like common sense, public safety, like very, very middle of the road stuff. Republican Congress overturned it, and Biden signed that legislation to overturn our public safety legislation. So a lot of times,
why? Because it was too woke. Like what?
Yeah, and from his perspective, he thought it was like too soft on crime. But like we've seen establishment Democrats and Republicans both kind of using DC as their bargaining chip on a lot of things. And so that's why we need statehood. We need to be able to be protected the same way a lot of other states are.
Yeah, but then it's going to be a blue state. So which state are we chopping?
I think we could
in
merge.
In order to create a balance.
50. I mean, I think 51's a great number, but we could always merge the
but not
to make
Puerto
it even
Rico.
numbers.
That's even
Okay.
So I'm saying DC obviously blue, right?
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be blue. It's a deep blue city. Which state are you cutting in half so that it's 52? And why is it North Dakota?
Oh, no, I think the Dakotas should merge. That's
how you want to. Well, then that's two. That's one less state, one less red state.
But I mean, I don't think like
this is
if
exactly
we
the kind of woke nonsense that's coming from the Democratic Socialists of America chat. That's crazy. Okay, so all jokes aside, so statehood.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an understandable desire, it's an understandable goal. Unfortunately, it's also seen as like another political football where. Is there any appetite from the Democrats? I feel like Democrats never do anything cool to even gain leverage for the national party.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of hope seeing like, in Virginia, them passing, obviously got overturned by their court, but them passing the map to like respond to Republican gerrymandering that
but
DC statehood is the right thing to do and it's the political thing to do.
Yeah, but also at the same time, Spamberger just dunked on it immediately. So that still goes back to what I was talking about, which you're no stranger to, which is the ineptitude, or rather the feckless nature of the National Democratic Party that simply wants things to remain intact and seemingly is much more frustrated about any sort of like left momentum, left mobilization, at least in my experience. That's what I've seen. Was there something similar in DC as well? Is there like a big machine here as well?
There was, but I would say that I think that this election was sort of the last gasp of that machine. So there was the Green Team, which was Mayor Bowser's kind of political machine, elected a lot of more like neoliberal, moderate Democrats. But I think after this last election, there isn't a single sort of like Green Team aligned, like inside with Mayor Bowser elected, who will be coming in next year. But it has been, I mean, like DC has had sort of decades of this establishment Democratic rule, which is also led to like decaying government agencies where people, this election also became about not just sort of values and cost of living, but also just making government work. Like there are a lot of rats. Our trash doesn't get picked up that frequently. When you call an agency, you might not get responses for hours. And so there's definitely a political machine here, but I think it is on its way out. And I think people really see through it now.
Okay. I mean, that's hopeful for sure. What are the steps? What are the big hurdles in front of DC statehood? That's like the biggest goal of the chapter, at least for DC specific.
Yeah, I mean, I think like DC statehood is like less likely than it is, like it's more likely that it won't happen than it will. But we've got to fight for it. If we get a Democratic Congress, if we get, a good president, like not just a Democratic president, but a good president. I think that's like the most momentum we'll have. And so like post 2028 is like, we've got to push for it. But I think it's going to require like DSA organizing on a national level, mobilizing chapters, especially in swing states, especially in swing districts, to be able to push for it too. Because, like I said, when you go into those Senate offices and you go into those Hill offices, they don't really care about DC. How
big is this chapter?
People at home. I'm sure someone in the chat will correct me, but I think we hit over 4,000 dues paying members after this election.
That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I think.
Damn, that's like half the city.
Oh, New York might be higher at this point, but at one point we were had the highest concentration of DSA members.
Wow.
Per capita.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 4,000 is crazy. New York is 15,000 now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like that doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. They're in New
boosted.
York. Yeah.
They got boosted a lot, and
Yeah.
there's too many people there.
Yeah.
No, this is better. That's crazy. 4,000 is very large chapter. I mean, in my experience at least, I feel like the more there's public transit, albeit not the best, but the more there's public transit, the easier it is to organize.
Oh,
And someone is saying 3,500, 3,200.
Okay, I gave us a little boost.
Damn.
That's aspirational. By the end of this year, we'll
after
hit
this
4,000.
interview, yeah. Philly is 2.1K.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys are. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big number. Chat.
Yeah.
That's a huge chapter. It might be one of the biggest chapters in the country. I think, right?
I think we're fourth. I think it goes New York City, LA, or we might be third. I think maybe we're third, and then Chicago's fourth. But
Wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, so we have been kind of grinding a little quietly. And for us too, it's just like we're Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So like it's a big reach. So, which is kind of nice because there are elections every year for us, but it also means like we're a lot more spread out too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you guys like cross-pollinate. You work on all the other, you work on all the Virginia stuff too. And Maryland stuff as well.
And there are some ballot initiatives this year that I think our Nova chapter Nova branch has endorsed.
Okay, that's cool. All right, you guys have any questions? I'm in MD Eastern Shore. How do I join? How does someone join? If they're in
Is that might be a separate chapter?
DSAUSA.org/join. But
DSAUSA.org/join. And you can figure it out on your own. Will MDSA invade Delaware?
I feel like Philly is better positioned for that.
Okay. But someone's got to invade Delaware.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, as long as
I'm
we
pretty
invade
neutral.
Delaware, I'm
Yeah.
happy. Will my dad come back? No. There's people talking about your Pomodoro dress. They
Oh
said
yeah,
it looks very
the tomatoes.
nice.
Thank you. It's tomato season, despite the diarrhea parasite.
Yeah. Ask her thought on Rose Bar.
I don't know what Rose Bar is.
What the fuck is Rose Bar, chatter? Talk about the mayor-elect? Sure, let's talk about the mayor-elect.
Yeah.
I'll admit there was a lot of other campaigns that were taking place around the
Totally.
country, and I didn't pay close attention, but you said affordability was a major point here.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're coming from a tenant organizing background. In your experience, before we get to the mayor-elect, in your experience, coming from the tenant organizing background, like, do you see a lot of people from across the political spectrum that get involved because they see that this is an opportunity to immediately take control over their lives in a very meaningful way?
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends. You mean like that get involved with tenant organizing specifically, or that move? From,
Yeah, when
like,
you're doing
tenant
tenant organizing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes like similar to labor organizing, and also it depends on the person, and it depends on sort of how immediate their issues feel, and also the level of risk they might be taking on. We saw a huge boost during the pandemic because one, everyone's being told to stay home to stay safe, and if the conditions in your home are inhabitable, like that becomes all encompassing all of a sudden. And then two, a ton of people were getting laid off and couldn't afford to pay rent. And so tenant organizing and like your home became a huge site of politicization for folks. And so like I organized with a building that's in Ward 8 in DC, which is a predominantly Black working class part of DC. And they were dealing with really awful living conditions. And during COVID is like, I think there were this was before I got involved, but like there were attempts to sort of try to get, to build out the tenants union there and everything before, but it was COVID that really actually like launched the efforts there. And we organized a rent strike there alongside the tenants. And I think at the peak, probably like 200 tenants were on rent strike and withholding their rent from the landlord. And eventually it led to like the Office of the Attorney General bringing a lawsuit. Tenants won $41 million in rent relief, which is huge from that settlement. But I think it really just ebbs and flows on like what people's immediate conditions are. And, it's easier to ask someone to go to a tenant association meeting than it is to ask them to go on rent strike and withhold their rent and take on that risk. But I think like, that tenant organizing and like building that base really, like I still am 100% about like organized tenants and organized labor being, and like sort of that mass movement building being part of how we change this country. But I also saw at the council just like taking away tenant protections, cutting emergency rental assistance, and I think has been like this year, I think like renters issues and tenant issues became a lot bigger for folks.
Yeah, I mean, in an environment where home ownership is becoming increasingly less attainable, I feel like tenant organizing is going to be the next wave of organizing in general.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like labor unions are understandable. Everybody, well, maybe not in America, but people kind of get it where you get together and you're like withholding your labor if necessary. Whereas with tenants, you are technically their entire value is just you giving them money.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like, as long as sort of there is like, as long as America is treating basic needs like commodities and something for people to extract profit off of, you're going to see people using their leverage however they can to try to.
I mean, this is impossible without statehood anyway. But do you guys have any public housing initiatives? Or
I mean, so we do have public housing in DC. Similar to like any other city. Janice actually introduced a social housing bill, I forget exactly how long ago, but a couple of years ago. And that's a huge priority for me if, when coming back in is to try to actually get that passed. I think we're seeing incredible things in Seattle, and Montgomery County, our neighbor, also has social housing, and it would be great for us to like move in that direction of having publicly owned, resident-controlled housing.
How's the power sharing look like between because every city has a different mayor system. Like New York is very centralized.
Yeah.
But LA is very decentralized, where the council district members are more powerful technically than the mayor. The mayor is basically just signing off on things. Like they have some capabilities. Is it similar in DC to LA or New York?
I would say we're probably in the middle of those. So like the council has legislative power, but the mayor has a lot of the executive branch has a lot of power, and the agencies there have a lot of power. And the mayor proposes a budget, the council can amend it, but they can only do so much within what the mayor proposes. And so that, with an unfriendly mayor, has led to us having to save a lot of things and be on defense a lot. But with a much friendlier mayor and someone who will prioritize like rental assistance and things like that, I think like we'll be working just like from a better baseline. And like, council can always override the mayor on legislation if they veto it and stuff. But I would say we're pretty even. A lot of, I think, issues in DC have been around, in some ways we have good laws and good protections, but the enforcement is not there. Like agencies won't necessarily go after wage theft or code violations in housing. And so that is where like that implementation enforcement piece is going to be really, really important.
Is there not enough funding for these agencies, or what is the,
I would say
is it corruption? Just naked corruption?
Yeah. Like there have been a lot of like agency heads who have like held multiple jobs or like have been found to not be qualified for their positions. Like it's actually like serving the people of DC has not been a priority for this mayor or for the people that she appoints.
There's a racial component to all of this that I think people might not understand, because when people think of Washington, DC, they think like politicians, evil people, tyrants from all around the world coming in, flying in here, staying in hotels like this one. But DC is a very black city.
Yeah, we used to be majority black. Because of these policies that have increased displacement, we are now a plurality black city.
Wow.
So like that's why, you know, DC is chocolate city, like that's what
Yeah.
it's known as. And so you're seeing a lot of families, especially Black and Latino families, get pushed out of their homes, pushed out of DC entirely. And so, you know, I think the hope for that Janice and I both have, and progressives in general on the council, is to try to create more affordable housing, to invest in tenant protections, and try to really keep people housed. And then to that point too, that you said, like the building that I was organizing with in Ward 8, you know, like I said, working class, predominantly Black, like the issues that they were dealing with would not fly in Ward 3, which is predominantly white, wealthier neighborhood. Like the Department of Buildings would come out occasionally, but they wouldn't enforce any of the fines. And like, it's just like, you know, you see sort of this mismanagement and this lack of enforcement on specifically working class communities and communities of color.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that also makes it less likely to push for statehood, makes it less likely to have any kind of political power as well.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, a whole part of why we've been denied statehood for so long is because DC is such a Black city, and like it was a way to suppress Black political power.
All right, we got a nerd in here. Official membership numbers are 3,763, fourth largest after New York City, LA, and at large.
Oh, well, at large doesn't count.
I mean, I had no idea. That's crazy. Okay, someone is calling out your sorority.
Kyle!
Yeah. Said, great, sorority girls doing good things. You both mentioned earlier that public transit makes it easier for DSA chapters to organize. There are planet/discussions regarding organizing within more suburban or rural areas that can also benefit from DSA candidates and agendas.
Yeah, I mean, we, like I mentioned, we're the Metro DC chapter, so we are in DC, but we're also in suburban Maryland and in Northern Virginia, and we did have a few endorsed Maryland candidates this past cycle too, and we were able to politicize and talk to voters, and I think like voters who had never been canvassed before, voters who had been like left behind and locked out of the political process in their neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
So we are actively doing that. And a lot of our early wins in like 2018 and stuff were in those suburban areas. And for a while, we actually weren't that successful in DC. It wasn't until 2020 that we started getting some wins here. But
what made you want to join
DSA? So for me, I mean, it was like, I was kind of DSA curious coming out of like, you know, Bernie, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, seeing all of them. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until I actually I started tenant organizing. I was dealing with a really terrible landlord who wouldn't fix anything. Would like, you know, electricity wasn't working in half the house. Like we had a ton of rodents, and then they like refused to like, you know, fix the holes in the house and stuff. And he would like send people around to our house to try to intimidate us into paying rent. And then eventually the house got foreclosed on because he wasn't paying his mortgage, even though we were paying our rent.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, and we only found out because one of my roommates was like on Zillow, just like, what if I, you know, like, just like, you know, perusing what houses look like if we were like had $1 million and could buy one. Uh-huh. And she saw our house on Zillow. Like we never found out from the landlord directly.
So he was
just
still
like, collecting
checks?
He was trying to, yeah. At that point, once we found out it was foreclosed, we stopped paying rent to him. But then—
That is insane.
Yeah. Then the house went up for an auction, and a real estate company bought it. And they also refused to fix anything because they were trying to push us out so they could flip it and turn it into condos. And we just felt like, I felt like we didn't know what our rights were. I just felt like we were just being like, you know, we were at the whims of these two people who were just trying to, again, like profit off of something that was our home and a place we needed to live. And so I looked at a lot of the different organizations in the area, and like the only one that was really organizing tenants around rent strikes and around like more, I don't know, like more radical tactics, I guess, was the DSA chapter and Stomp Out Slumlords. And so I started doing anti-eviction canvassing with them. During COVID, like I mentioned, really started tenant organizing with them. And then that's how I got more involved with the chapter.
Don't you feel like this is hurtful to landlords to present slumlords as a cockroach?
Well, you know what? I think
do you guys not care about feelings of landlord feelings?
you know, I think if you're willing to get rid of those cockroaches in
You
the
got to
home
get
that you
ready
rent
for this
out,
line of questioning.
then,
Now that DSA is big time on Fox News.
I mean, yeah, if you maintain a slum, if you keep your tenants in slum conditions, then
Why do you want to make
feel
it
free.
illegal to be a slumlord?
I don't even know how to answer that. Like,
Don't
you
you
know,
feel like they're providing value?
I think
They're creating homes for people like yourself.
yeah, they're home creators. They're home
Yeah.
creators.
Yeah, they're materializing it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, yeah, I mean, I've definitely run into questions that have been somewhat along those lines, but like, my thing is like, you know what? If you follow the rules, like, sure, you're good, I guess. But it's like we have so many people who are trying to hike up rent, so many landlords who are trying to hike up rent, even if they're not slumlords. You know, so many landlords who are trying to just like extract every bit of money that they can.
Is there any rent stability mechanism here, like price stability mechanism
We
in DC?
do have rent stabilization. It only applies to buildings built before 1975. So yeah.
Great.
So that was a huge part of my campaign. Is I want to expand it to effectively all multifamily buildings. And
what about tipping your landlord?
Oh yeah,
Have you
that's a
thought
good
about
idea.
that?
Yeah, you always have to tip your landlord 25%. Yeah,
Okay,
nothing
that's
less.
what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I let
then
them have the food in the house
throw in
too.
an extra 5% if they pay the utility bills on time. But yeah, no, I mean, I got a lot of that of like, you're disincentivizing development and like the reason.
What development?
Well, the reason builders aren't building in DC right now is because like Trump just laid off a ton of our workforce, and there's a lot of uncertainty around economics. Like,
It's
that
awesome.
has nothing to do with
I love when people say, any kind of price stability initiative, any kind of like, any kind of initiative like that is going to have negative consequences on building new projects, building new development. It's like, first, what kind of development is being built is a real question here.
Right.
And secondly, where is the development anyway? It's not like they're building and we don't have enough, rent control anyway.
Yeah, and it's also like, is the purpose of building more housing to just have buildings, or is it for people to be able to live in those buildings and be able to afford to live in those buildings?
Easy question.
Like,
It's to have more buildings.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
It's to have more buildings that
They provide
BlackRock
shade.
can
Yeah,
own.
exactly.
Yeah, to provide value to shareholders.
Yes, yeah, of course.
I can't tell. I can't tell if you're the basic fact about buildings.
No,
Homes are.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. I always need
Homes
to keep that in
are
mind.
a speculative asset, and it's not like when people. It's kind of yucky when people live in them. Actually.
No, yeah.
I prefer
no.
when people don't live in them.
Yeah.
My favorite is when it's just like, a foreign investor that purchases an entire apartment unit just so that they can park their assets.
Yeah. I think we should have like housing for like one, not housing for all. Like one person. Yeah.
That might even be too much. As long as they're like super rich.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have other houses where they're displacing other people and not using the house. As long as that's the case. Okay. Can she fix the potholes on MacArthur Boulevard?
I'll try. I don't think that's in Ward 1, but I'll try.
Can you ask me about future project Metro DSA has now after all their successes in Maryland or Virginia?
Future project in Maryland or Virginia?
Yeah, and also there's a good data center related, electricity bill related question as well.
Okay. In Virginia, I know that there are 3 ballot initiatives that are coming up that the chapter is going to be organizing around. So that would be a really good way to get involved in Virginia. In Maryland, I'm not as familiar with what's happening because we just had elections there this year.
I don't even know what Maryland is. I'm totally unfamiliar. And then, the other one was about Virginia and power bills.
Oh, yeah.
Ask her, where does she rank DC public transportation compared to other cities? I think it's underrated in parentheses.
I do think it's underrated. I mean, I think like New York City has a world-class public transit system. Like, it's definitely like, well, the trains, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's where it has a robust.
It has the best public transit system in the
in the United States, yes, which is literally the most impossibly low bar.
I know.
To clear.
Fine. Yeah. okay, Tokyo has a world-class public transit system. New York City has a mid-class, but best in the U.S.
Best in the
but
US.
I would say
Yeah.
DC. I would argue it could be second. Like I can get effectively. I mean, it's not as reliable as it should be yet. It's not like like routes aren't as direct as they could be yet. But between metro and buses, I
Is
feel
there
like
any
I can
development?
get
Is there
anywhere.
any initiative to build more lines? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think less than the metro itself. I think the bus system is
Yeah.
where people are prioritizing, like trying to get it to be more reliable, trying to get routes to like increase the number of routes, build more bus priority lanes, things like that. But I do think it's pretty good. I took the bus here.
I was told there's going to be a $10 increase. Is there an increase in the fare or something? I don't even know.
I know that there's going to be an increase, but I think maybe $10 the monthly amount or the weekly amount. I don't know.
Tell her we want streetcars.
So I feel like if we really invest in the bus and we have bus priority lanes, I think the streetcar would have been a great project had it been actually really invested in and built out entirely. But I think the bus is our gentle giant of the transit system, and I think we need to invest in those more.
Are we doing them fast and free? Zoran style?
I think fast first, and then I would really like to get to free. And I know that the transit union is also supportive of free buses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And DC did pass free buses, but the WMATA board, which includes regional appointees from Maryland and Virginia, overturned that decision.
Overhead powered buses on 16th Street. Someone's just saying that. I think they're just throwing out ideas.
No, yeah, thank you.
They're just like, this is what you should do next.
Yeah.
Isn't this is wonderful? It's more annoying than a town hall.
No, I have no idea how you're like keeping up with this.
Yeah. Buses are free in Alexandria, Virginia across the river.
Yeah, they are.
Um,
And if you live in Maryland and Virginia, ask your WMATA board reps to allow us to have free buses.
Read this one. What should we do about RFK Stadium? We just removed the streetcar that would have gone straight there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need more enforcement. I mean, coming into council, I'm going to have a really strong eye around enforcement around the transit investments that were made, and especially the labor protections that we put in there too. I feel like enforcing the project labor agreements and labor peace agreements for that's going to be really important. But yeah, I think we got to invest in like more bus lines and stuff to go to RFK because traffic is going to be a cluster on game days.
Yeah. Has she considered a hyperloop? No, I don't think.
I wish.
A hyperloop? Elon Musk? Elon Musk, I think, is hyperloop is the Elon Musk thing.
Oh my God, never mind. I was thinking like some sci-fi something. Never mind.
No, it's not sci-fi.
Wait,
at all.
what's a hyperloop?
It's just a tunnel that only takes one Tesla at a time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they did it in Nevada. It was a spectacular failure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, tunnel would get clogged down all the time. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Elon Musk should, I think, stay away from DC forever.
Oh yeah, he did.
He should stay away from America in
where
general.
He was like potentially trying to buy a hotel in my ward, like the Line Hotel in Adams Morgan. He ended up not making an offer, and like I think the original owners just repurchased it or whatever. But Elon.
Yeah. Okay, what else, chat? It's not just a tunnel, it has gamer lighting. That's true. Okay. Be a true DCer and support local. Oh my God. They just keep telling me to go to the Smithsonian.
I mean, the Smithsonian's are really great museums if you haven't been there, and they're free, which is incredible.
Yeah, I'm. You know what I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go to sleep. That's what I'm gonna do after this. I'm so tired.
That's fair.
Make her legalize weed everywhere.
Well, so DC did pass also a ballot initiative to legalize weed, and then Congress overturned it.
So what do you have no autonomy?
Yeah.
At all. That's got to be annoying.
Oh, it's awful. 700,000 people live and work here and don't have control over our budget or our laws at the end of the day. And so my perspective is I'm going to try to pass and fight for what I can. And
Have you guys ever thought about like making it more annoying for the congresspersons that have their second homes here to live here so that they have to like so you have more power
Yeah.
over them?
I could be wrong, but I think that is one of the tax proposals that current council member has put forward.
What, like second home?
Yeah, like similar.
No.
I think so. I
mean,
could
they're
be wrong.
gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna nuke that. There's 0%
Well,
chance.
so there is
because there's broke ass congresspersons too.
James Comer in Kentucky is a Republican congressperson who has a bill on the House that's I think being heard on Wednesday that would it would keep us from being able to raise taxes effectively or be able to change our taxes. So if you like call your congresspeople, tell them to vote against James Comer's bill.
Yeah, but there's congresspeople.
I know.
So they
I know.
are never gonna allow to be taxed extra.
But I think also like members of Congress need to worry about their own elections and stop messing with DC. Like they should go to their own home districts instead of like dealing, trying to
I feel like with a competent Democratic Party, DC statehood could be a real push.
Oh, I think so. And I think I mean like I think if the Democratic Party and like whoever is in the majority positions for the Democratic Party is willing to like whip their members, like we could pass it in Congress. It's just a matter if they have the will.
How do you feel about the American flag blue reflecting pool?
Oh my God.
do you sometimes go over there to look at it and go, that's exactly the same color of the American flag?
Well, so I will also tell you, they also there's this park in my ward called Malcolm X Park, Meridian Hill Park, where they fixed the fountains, and within days it turned into brown water and was like, like it cost.
Also a different variant of the same American flag blue.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really glad that we're getting billions of dollars taken from our budget so Trump can do his.
Is that what he's using it on, you think?
No.
His beautification initiatives?
No, I mean, it's all the money that he took from SNAP and healthcare and everything that he's using.
Who needs food, honestly? It's just, so, I mean, how does the beautification initiative work? Because it feels like from the outside, I don't really come to DC that often, but the rest of the country is looking at DC and they're thinking to themselves, well, this is right about how we thought this would go.
Yeah, I mean,
it's expected. It's a spectacular fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, DC is an incredible city, and the past year has been super bleak. Like, I don't think it's great for tourism to have like armed troops walking past your restaurant.
What about the face banners?
Oh my God.
It's distracting, right? Because he's so hot.
Yeah.
Having his sexy face plastered everywhere. Like if he was uglier, I would be like, oh, that's fine. It's just like a regular person. But he's so handsome when he's.
That's what people say. They're like that Trump. He's so handsome.
When he's hitting that look, like with the one eyebrow.
Yeah.
It's like he's smizing. Yeah. Those are good too.
Yeah.
How was the 250 fair, and did you go every day?
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of it. I mean, I'll say like I don't.
One of the 7 people that attended.
Yeah. If you look at the picture and it's like very sparsely attended, it's like you can figure out where I am.
Yeah.
But no,
you brought the average age down to 87.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't really come downtown that often anyways, and like have avoided it as much as I can over the past year and a half.
Is there drama like that where it's like the DC, like the politics side of DC and like the real DC where all the residents live? It's like 2 separate realities.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a lot of people who work in politics who are still like part of, real DC or whatever, but it absolutely is a huge disconnect because it's like you have the people, I mean, once every 4 years you have like the national politics, like people who pay attention to local politics who are like very loudly against Janice, against me. And then after the election's over, they go back to the national politics side of things.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a tension, but it's like, I think it's more just like, I want people not in DC to realize that like, we're not just like the Hill or, you know, the federal government. We are like, there are teachers, there are bus drivers, like there are a ton of people who live here who are, you know, just everyday people.
Yeah. Do you know where Mitch McConnell is, and can we go visit him? I miss him.
I think I forgot. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, like, according to that, definitely not AI photo.
He stopped responding to my text messages.
Yeah.
It's making me sad.
Well, just like, I'm sure in like 3 days, he'll send you another photo with his hands on an altered newspaper. And it'll be fun.
So your team possibly AI.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, he's in a vegetative state when he was alive anyway, so I don't know how big of a difference it makes. Let's be real. He's 84 years old and can barely walk.
Yeah, I mean, I did see something on Twitter today about how Andy Bashir was told that Mitch McConnell was dead before that photo came out.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he released a statement that like demanding proof of life. Because people around him, around Mitch McConnell, or people in Kentucky politics were saying, there was a new picture today. Wait, really? Let me see. Send me the new photo, chatters. What is this? Bring laser hair removal back to estheticians. Dermatologists charge too much. Also expand Whitman Walker type of healthcare. Sorry, random thoughts. Okay, guys, that's...
The laser hair removal one is so niche.
Yeah. What the fuck? How hairy are you, chatter? Goddamn. Okay, I don't think there's a new picture that came out today.
Oh, someone's just...
I think people are just lying. What?
Oh.
Okay, dude.
Oh.
Mitch McConnell is dead, but his office released a new photo of him wearing the same shirt as the other photo. Yeah, I don't think... this is a new photo. I think someone is just... What is this? Wow, he looks so good.
Yes, he's in tip-top shape.
Yeah. New photo plus analysis?
Oh my God.
Okay, that's too long. Oh wait, this is a new photo. What? What is this? I think we're going crazy. I think AI is making us crazy. And it's not just that like there's a lot of fake photos out there, but then there's also this like endless suspicion of like possibly,
what is real, yeah.
Yeah. Possibly, real photos that people think are fake. What is this? Andrew Tate got arrested. You know who this guy is?
Yeah. Was he not already arrested?
In Romania, but then the Trump admin kind of moved some stuff around. Ask her what a snow crate is.
Oh, snow crate.
Snow crate.
As a perfect example of like the mismanagement in DC versus in New York City, like when there was that big snowstorm at the beginning of the year in January, it was just like a layer of snow with like a layer of frozen ice on top of it. And like, you know, Zoran paid people to help sweep the snow and they were able to clear it pretty quickly. I think ours was like 2 or 3 weeks of it just being like completely like frozen solid and like people couldn't get anywhere. Like bus stops were like had huge ice mountains on them. And Snow Creek came out as like
what
the
about
term
in downtown
to, like,
though? Like around the...
It was bad in downtown too.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
it was bad all
so
over
then
the
there
place.
could be there could be some advantages in this, otherwise this not so great situation. That never happens. Never mind. I'm not saying anything. So, but the lack of support from the federal government or the impediments that they offer end up harming them as well.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's what we were saying when they were doing the $1 billion thing. Is we were like, like these are the streets you drive on that we won't be able to like fund potholes for, like, you know,
Yeah.
or like filling the potholes. Like this is trash pickup that's gonna affect you because it's gonna be delayed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're only here 4 days a week, so
If at that.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Thanks for having me.
This was wonderful, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
congratulations to Metro DC DSA. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing a
Yeah.
great job. And, you know, I hope you adjust well to the newfound negative attention that you will all be receiving.
Yeah, I mean,
It's tough. But you get used
it's
to it.
yeah. I
You'll
think
get used.
it's been bound to happen. Like I feel like if we're getting that attention, we're doing something right. We're challenging the powers that be. So
That's right. Oh, is there anything you want to promote, by the way, before?
join DSA, and also fight for DC statehood. Tell your senators and your congresspeople.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, let me get that.
And thank you everyone who complimented my dress.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna walk them out real quick, chat, and then we'll get to Andrew Tate before I end the broadcast. Okay, here's you guys can watch Andrew Tate getting arrested. While I walk him out.
Back up. Guys, back up. You know this corner, please? Are you able to pull it up some sort of? You gotta go. Okay.
All right. What the fuck is going on? Is it ice? Is it actually ice? Because that makes this kind of funny. It's like the one time. Because he's like super anti-immigrant. Is the Burnham government finally doing something good? Is it the British government? Is there like an extradition demand or something? What the fuck's going on? U.S. Marshal Service? British prosecutors announced last Saturday that they were seeking the extradition of the brothers on rape and sex trafficking charges. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Have you seen the news? Shut the fuck up. Oh, wow. It's like a whole ass fucking TMZ operation. Hold on. I gotta pee real quick. That's crazy.
Mr. Tate, would you mind signing?
Hey, take. Back up. Back up. Back up. Guys, back up. Are you able to pull it up some sort of way? We gotta go see it. Okay.
Tristan, anything to say?
Wow. I mean, as you guys know, I support our law enforcement to the fucking hilt. Patrick Bet David reacts to the ketchup attack. Dude, this guy's fucking awesome. He mogs me so hard with his Patrick Bet David. I've shown his clips before on this broadcast. Mine is whack. I'm a numbers guy is nothing. He's the real numbers guy.
So I'm looking at something like this, very controversial. Somebody is throwing ketchup on Reza Pahlavi. Why is he throwing ketchup and not something else? Maybe they throw in something like a poisonous something, right? So you look at ketchup. Ketchup is red. The opposite of ketchup is mustard, right? Mustard is yellow. So maybe what they're trying to tell us is something about the color of ketchup and the color of mustard, how it's, you mix it together, it's orange. And they're trying to say something about, Donald Trump, they saying his tan is orange, right? People is calling him the orange man. So maybe this is their way of trying to say something about Trump. Or here is another theory, right? Maybe you look at what is ketchup and mustard going on. Hot dogs, right? It's the July 4th, 250 years anniversary of United States. So maybe they're trying to say something about how they don't want Reza Pahlavi to become the new leader of Iran because they don't like what he is going to do with America in terms of diplomacy and everything like that.
So beast mode. Goated. I'm a numbers guy is the opposite of ketchup is no ketchup. This guy right here, now this guy, he's a real numbers guy. I've heard him talk about the ketchup and the Patrick Bet David, and he knows exactly what's going on. He out PBD. Yeah.